I mean, this guy that I had as a mentor, he thought that he was the only person on the planet that can use two pieces of metal. A piece of metal that, one is stacked on top of another piece. He thought he was the only person on the planet that was allowed to do that. I mean, there are artists all over the world that do that same thing that he does. So guys, I'm just tacking. Just tacking, just making this baby as I go. So what you've seen me doing, I make the tools I'm using. I mean, this is what I want you guys to be able to do. If you have a tool in mind that you need, make it. You can make it. Not a big deal. That's the way I make art. I know a lot of people that draw. I draw rarely. I design pieces on a piece of paper, on a computer, rarely. I mean, rarely. Most of the stuff I make just comes from my head. I mean, I've heard some of the best artists say that they just doodle, just draw all day long, just draw lines, and that's cool. I do that sometime, especially if I'm gonna put like stack pieces up. I can do that. But most of the time, I just come up with something in my head, and I'll just grab some metal and start, cutting it out and just putting it together. So I guess it depends on your style. And whatever your style is, let that be your style. Whatever you want to make it. Don't let anyone tell you that's not good enough. You're not smart enough. You didn't take enough art courses. Don't let them tell you any of that mess. So I'm gonna let you guys in, on a little secret. Some of the best artists in the world never took an art course. And some of the best artists in the world that went through, art school, got, master's, a degree, and PhD. A lot of those guys will tell you, don't go to art school. Because if you do, oftentimes you'll become your professor. And I'm not saying that if you go to art school, you're not a good artist. But what I'm saying is that you do not have to go to art school to become a good artist. That's all I'm saying. And there are excellent artists out there that have gone through school and all that stuff. But then there are some excellent ones out there that have never stepped foot in an art class. I think a lot of people think, well, I know a lot of people think that I went through art school and have a degree in art and all that stuff. But nope. Like I said, I think my only art teacher I ever had just tried to discourage me from pursuing art because I was terrible. But now my brother, he could draw very artistic. But me, nope. But it didn't let it stop me. We just installed a piece, stacks, at a key bank downtown, across from an art center, across from a library. And this is the second piece we've installed in just a couple of months, because they want us to furnish the downtown area with our sculptures. And they're paying us well. I mean, not too bad for a guy that flunked out of art class, art class. My art teacher was terrible because she never should have gotten to the point where I basically flunked. I mean, she should have taught me something. But, you know, maybe I'm glad she didn't. Because maybe I would have been like her. I don't know. And no, I'm not putting her down. But you know, I don't know. You always encourage people. Like I encourage you guys. You get out there, and if you make the ugliest piece has ever been made, that's cool, because somebody's gonna like it, and they're gonna buy it. So just get confidence in yourself. Get out there and just start banging something around. Whether you do like I do, you know, buy sheets of metal, or you go out and you find objects. You know, that's the best way to do it, because that's how I started. Found metal. Like I was using like tops. Let me show you. I was using if I can get it out of here. I was using cylinder caps. These caps came off the top of those bottles. That's that one over there is straight argon for the TIG water, and this is 75-25 argon and carbon dioxide, I believe it is. Yep, 75-25. These came off the top. I was making dogs and cats out of these. This will be the head. I'll have my screws for the eyes and different things for the nose. I had a plate on the back, stainless steel plate most of the time on the back, closing that off. Had ears coming up, depending on if it was a dog or a cat. This will be the body. I will have a neck coming from here to the bottom of here. Have this coming off, had a tail, had legs. I mean, you see the picture, this stuff right here. That's how I started out. And people couldn't get enough of it. Man, they were buying it like crazy. We would do like yard sales. People would go crazy buying that stuff. And so my wife said, well, if you can do that, we should start doing shows. So I was making those. I was making these flowers, just making all kinds of stuff, just out of found metal. I did that for probably 2 or 3 years. Just finding scrap. And then it got to the point where like neighbors would bring scrap metal, and I would just take it and make stuff out of it. And then, I was like I said, I was doing the shows, and that's when I met, my kind of mentor. He said, Brian, what are you doing? If you have the skill to do that, you can make, fine art. And so that's how I started doing fine art. I started making, small pieces, and then over the years just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until, here I am. I'm not where I'm, going to end up. I'm just kind of like in the middle of the journey. But that's how I started. Just found stuff. I'll go to the junkyard and get like car springs, exhaust pipes, just all kinds of stuff. Just make stuff. And they kept getting, nicer and nicer and nicer and nicer. And one day this girl asked me to make her a cat, a purple cat, or was it a yellow cat? One or the other, purple and yellow cat. So I made her a purple and yellow cat, spray paint and whatnot. Took the thing to her. She loved it, absolutely loved it. And that's when I said, well, maybe I have a little skill here. And I started doing that. I even made a scorpion for my brother. He wanted a scorpion. So I made him a scorpion. It's probably about this big. And it's crazy how my mind started working when I was making this scorpion. I made this plate, and it had this little like alien guy, and the scorpion was on the back of like the ship kind of thing, and they were like, it was designed kind of like a spaceship for the scorpion. It was just crazy. I'll put a picture of that as well, just so you guys can see what it is I'm talking about. But that's how I started out. And motorcycles, just all kinds of stuff. So you guys don't have to start here, because this is not cheap, doing what I do like this. A sheet of, just say a sheet of stainless steel, maybe like a 4x10 or 5x10, somewhere in there. It could be, close to 1,000, somewhere in there, or more. Core 10, a sheet of core 10, like for like 11 gauge, like a 4x10 would be probably 400 and almost 500. 16 gauge core 10, a 4x10 sheet is probably 400. I normally don't get the 4x8 sheets because that's just too small. You can't make much out of it. You normally get either a 4x10, a 5x10, a 4x12, something like that. Because I can make, if I get a 4x or 5x12 sheet of core 10, I can probably make probably about 5 or 6 sculptures from that. Because when I order core 10, I'll order like a sheet of 11 gauge or 10 gauge for the thick, and then I'll order the same size sheet in 16 gauge. So I'll have, the thick stuff for this portion and the 16 gauge for this portion. So I can get like 6, probably 6 sculptures out of that, 6, even 7 Just depends on the sculpture I'm making. So for me, it makes sense, based on, how much we make off of a sculpture. I don't, go into price, because that's not what it's about. But I mean, it's worth it for me. But with you getting started, and you don't have, your client base, you don't do enough shows, it might not be, really worth it for you to do it yet. But maybe it could be. Just depends on what you do and all that kind of stuff. But I'm saying, to get started, to build up your cash reserves and whatnot, start out with found metal, and just keep working your way up from there. And I think that's the best way to go. Well, guys, I think I've ran my mouth enough. I've tacked this piece up. I'll let you guys just kind of see it. Bring it over so you guys can, well, you can probably see it from here. And that looks like that. I have that hole right there. That's why I stick my hand through to weld that donut on here. And this piece will go on top of the lower piece. This will slide through that lower piece. The lower piece will come in here. The donut will sit in here. And that's how it's done, guys. I mean, I've talked about so many different things in this video, from radio control cars to now found metal. But that's just what I do. I want to give you guys as much help as I can. I mean, because there's a lot more to this business than just making the sculpture. That's why I'm glad I have my wife doing a lot of the back end stuff too. Signing up for all the shows and talking to all the people, because I can't talk to everybody. Like, we just did our interview for an article for some paper, talking about the sculptures we put downtown. Because on Christmas Eve, which was Tuesday morning, I did a video on it. It is called Installing Stacks or Placing Stacks, but this is the thumbnail of it. On Christmas Eve, I did that. We installed that piece at a key bank downtown from here, and then around the corner at the Art Center, we installed another large sculpture. And now they want us to pretty much fill the city with sculptures. There's this guy that's kind of backing everything. And so I say, cool. So, we're at a place, God has blessed us to be at this place where, buying sheets of metal is not a big deal, because we normally don't pay for the sheets of metal ourselves. Whoever we're making the sculptures for pay for all that stuff. So I'm not, saying I'm this big dude or anything like that, but it's just, when you're doing this and you're just starting out, just go on small steps, and you'll get to where you want to go. I'm sure you'll surpass me by a million miles. But all right, guys, I'm going to end this video, and I think on the next video I will probably be TIG welding some of this stuff. Just trying to give you guys some close-up shots of me welding it, and I'll be explaining what I'm doing, and I'll probably be kind of moving around on the piece, not staying in one spot, because I'm trying to keep it from warping. But that'll be it, and I hope I'll see you guys on the next one. And as usual, peace.